Thank you again, everyone, for attending today's webinar. Hi, my name is Tiara Brooks from School-Based Health Alliance, and we would like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar titled National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, Delivering Scientific Facts About Drug Abuse to Teens. 2016 marks the 6th Annual National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, a health observance created by the National Institute on Drug Abuse. This webinar will give participants the opportunity to learn about the effects of drug abuse on the brain, body, and behavior, how to organize an event for National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, and utilizing materials provided by the National Institute of Drug Abuse. Before we begin, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items. If you are viewing as a group, please go to the chat window in the question box and type in the name of the person registered and the total number of additional people in the room. For example, Tammy Jones +3. This will help us with our final attendance account. And just a few reminders, all attendees are in listen-only mode. However, we want to hear your questions. To ask a question at any point during the webinar, please use the question box located in your GoToWebinar control window. We will address questions following the presentation. Attendees will also be asked to complete evaluation poll questions at the end of this webinar. Please let us know how we are doing. Your feedback is vital in helping us craft presentations that meet your needs. This webinar is being recorded and will be archived on our website in 3 to 5 business days. Please also visit School-Based Health Alliance for additional archived webinars. We expect that by the end of this webinar, you will be able to know where to obtain science-based resources, materials with regards to substance abuse and addiction, and how to hold educational events for National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week 2016. I would now like to introduce our presenter for today, Mr. Brian Marquis. Brian Marquis is a public liaison officer with the Office of Science, Policy, and Communications for the National Institute on Drug Abuse, or NIDA, which is part of the National Institutes of Health based in Rockville, Maryland. At NIDA, Brian is charged with building and sustaining partnerships with federal, state, local governmental organizations in the dissemination of NIDA's science-based materials and publications. Brian developed and implemented NIDA's National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week initiative 6 years ago. Before we begin today's webinar, we would like to start off with one poll question. We would like to know who we have in our audience today. Please take a few seconds to answer this question. Okay, we would like to give everyone 5 more seconds. Okay, so we have 57% school or school-based health organizations. We have 16% government organizations, 16% substance abuse treatment or prevention, and 11% other. I would now like to turn it over to our presenter for today, Mr. Brian Marquis.
Thank you very much, Tiara. I certainly appreciate the great opportunity for me to present to the school-based health centers. Just wanted to say that the school-based health centers really represent the intersection of health and education. So this is a terrific opportunity for me to be able to present my, my webinar today. Excellent. Here we go. So, sorry about that.
Show my screen. Be able to view the screen. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Show my screen. It's a click on it.
I'm trying to get the mouse. Okay, here we go. Okay, excellent. So thank you again, Tierra, for your warm introduction. I certainly appreciate the opportunity and collaboration that we've had for the past few years working with you to relay our resources from the National Institutes of Health. So what I'd like to first do is just go briefly over the agenda. NIDA and NIAAA collaboration. What is NIDA? National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. Give some information on an overview, the goals and objectives of the week, as well as the audience, outreach and promotion, our partners, and next steps. So about the National Institute on Drug Abuse. National Institute on Drug Abuse is one of the 27 institutes and centers that make up the Federal National Institutes of Health. And our primary mission is to lead the nation in bringing the power of science to bear on drug abuse and addiction. And we do this through two very multifaceted ways. We provide strategic support and conduct research across a broad range of disciplines. We ensure the rapid and effective dissemination and use of the results of research to significantly improve prevention and treatment and to inform policy as it relates to drug abuse and addiction. And we do this working with our federal partners and everyone else who contributes to our efforts here at NIDA. And NIDA is a trusted source of information year-round. This is not just about National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. We provide science information, including nicotine addiction, prevention and treatment information, illicit drugs and their medical consequences. This includes prescription drug abuse. It also includes drug abuse and HIV/AIDS, as well as our annual Monitoring the Future survey, which the results from this particular survey that we've been doing for the past 35 or 40 years with the University of Michigan, this is about perception of drug use, and the results from this will actually be unveiled next week. And it's a very interesting survey that I would suggest you all take a look at regarding 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. We also, at the Institute, provide a number of different resources that can be used for not just National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, but supplemental information that you may find useful in your school-based health centers or whatever type of organization you are. So why are we here today? The NIDA for Teens, is really part of our National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week effort. Because we provide a lot of science-based information, our NIDA for Teens website really is working to get this science out there. It's credible information. These are all great facts about how drugs affect the brain, body, and behavior. And it's my goal to make sure that everyone has this information and will be able to pass this information on to teens so that they can make healthy decisions. There are a lot of myths out there about drugs that are flying around. And what I mean by this is that on any given day, you will hear from teens talking about, prescription drugs are always safe because they're prescribed by doctors. Now, we know that's not true because they're abused. Drug addiction is a choice. Pot is not addictive. Natural drugs are safer than synthetic ones. these are all myths that that we hear day in and day out, and I'm sure you also hear in your communities as well. National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week shatters the myths about drugs and drug abuse. This is our 6th year, and over the course of the past 6 years, we've been able to reach thousands of teens with our science-based drug abuse information. And we couldn't do this without representatives like yourselves who are on the webinar right now. This is certainly not a one-way street as far as our information dissemination vehicle goes at the Institute. We need you all to be able to provide this information and spread this information into your communities. This information is all free. It's not, we don't charge for it. It's credible and it's up-to-date information. It's based on the research that we have. And I'll go into that in a few minutes. So at this point, we're going to have a poll question, a couple poll questions, and feel free to respond as quickly as possible to these questions.
Okay, everyone, we do have one poll question for you. And have you heard of National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week? Please take a minute to answer the question. Thank you. All right, 5 more seconds. Okay, Brian, so 61% has not heard of National Drug Alcohol Facts Week, and 30% says, yes, I've heard of it, but not participated, and 70% has heard of it before.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you very much. So it looks like we're all in the right spot then. That's actually a very interesting statistic, so we certainly appreciate you all responding to that poll question. So about National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week is a health observance week that we established back in 2010 to help teens shatter the myths about drugs and drug abuse through community-based events and activities. So in 2016, it will actually take place January 25th to the 31st, and that's the 25th of January through the 31st. And this particular year, I'm thrilled to say that the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, one of the other institutes, there's a separate institute that handles just alcohol, is partnering with us this year. And so we're really looking forward to this collaboration as well. With the Alcohol Institute, we're able to bring into the mix a lot of different organizations that we may or may not have reached in the past. So some of these are community groups, they're prevention coalitions, and municipal governments. And all of these organizations engage and educate teens about science behind drugs and drug abuse by providing factual scientific information through our materials and events. What you see on the screen now is our PeerX materials. These PeerX materials are interactive materials that are part of our teen site, and we have a lot of great information that is available on our NIDA for Teens site, and I would certainly encourage you to take a look at what we have to offer, because these can be used as part of your National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week events. One of the things that we've been able to do over the course of the past 6-7 years is create these online toolkits that are specific to following themes. A lot of these themes are things that we hear from event holders, from different organizations that are very popular in their schools or in their particular communities. So we decided to create these online toolkits and how they can actually implement some of the material, some of the information and the resources that we have into their events. So we have these new toolkits: alcohol, marijuana, tobacco, and new psychoactive substances, synthetics. And we also have a general NDAFW toolkit available in Spanish. These are all available online. These are all online toolkits. What I wanted to do is just show you some of the partners that we have for 2016, and some of these organizations have actually been with us over the years, and they're all these are all teen influencer-based groups. So as you can see, the Association of School Guidance Counselors, Mentor Foundation, and I'm sure some of you all have heard of these organizations. A lot of them are nonprofit organizations that really want to utilize our materials for one reason or another and supplement their particular programming, and it gives them an opportunity for them to share materials for the week and reach out to them and encourage these folks to deliver some of these educational events and get involved. And like I mentioned earlier, this is certainly not a one-way street. Whoever does NDAFW events, whatever organization it is, we make sure that these organizations are recognized and they are put up on our, we have an online map that that's utilized, and we want to highlight these organizations. We even are able to highlight them in our e-newsletter. We're able to highlight them in our partner spotlights, which we have on our site, and other ways as well, which I'll go into in a bit. So plan now to get involved. It's very easy. When we talk about how to get involved with National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week, we're not talking about planning a huge knockout event. Unless this is something that you want to do in your community, we're always happy to support you in whatever your in your community efforts, in your schools, wherever you decide. It could be an online activity that you're doing. We want to hear about it. We want you to be able to participate, and there's a lot of different ways, whether it's a community event or creating web and social media activities. All of this information is online, how to do this, and it's part of our toolkit as well. So as you can see, there's a link here that will take you to the toolkit so that you can plan your activities. And there's 6 different steps to hosting an event. Obviously one of the things is that we would certainly appreciate you using our materials and highlighting these materials and forwarding us photos of your events, video clips, things like that. And we try to do this and make this as easy as possible so that you can work with us. And like I mentioned, it's certainly about the week, but it's also certainly about staying in touch with us throughout the year, because these materials, we try to develop these based on the recommendations of our event holders and of our constituents. So we would appreciate you certainly letting us know the success of your events. So some of the free resources that we have, our signature publication is entitled Drug Facts Shatter the Myths. And this is a booklet that we actually created in conjunction with working with team-based organizations. What information would they like to see? It's not real text-heavy. There's some great graphics in there. We've updated it throughout the years to include information that is specific and things that teens will resonate with. Another booklet is our Drugs, Brains, Behavior, The Science of Addiction booklet. A little more, little more text-heavy, but it really goes into the ins and outs of the science of addiction and how addiction can affect your brain, as well as the consequences of getting involved with substance abuse. Another area that we work with is one of our partnerships with Scholastic. We've had a tremendous relationship with Scholastic Corporation. Most organizations that are school-based have heard of or have worked with Scholastic in one way or another, whether it be a school book fair or whatever it may be. We've been able to work with them to create some of these teaching guides. And the teaching guide, we do have hard copies of this as well as an online tool that is certainly useful, and we've had some great feedback from event holders that have used these materials in the past. One of the things that we do every year also is create a National Drug IQ Challenge. And this IQ Challenge is a real interesting way for us to gauge and for you all to gauge what these teens know about substance abuse. And we create these questions every year. We update it every year, and it is available in Spanish, and they're new questions. I challenge all of you who are part of this webinar now really to take a look at this IQ Challenge when it's actually online and available for you to use. One of the things that I'd like to be able to say is that everyone on this webinar today was able to utilize this IQ Challenge in a way that you were able to at least provide this to your audiences in some way, shape, or form. And by doing this, all you would have to do is go online and take the IQ Challenge. We would certainly appreciate you registering that as an event on our site, that you took the IQ Challenge, or you took the IQ Challenge with 20 other students, or 3 classrooms, or whatever it was. You know, could be a county health department or whatever it may be. This would result in activity for us, and we would certainly appreciate that that you do that. So preventing drug abuse is possible, and we can certainly do this. We can certainly do this together. And as you will see when you visit the National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week website, you'll be able to see all the different community support that we've had over the years. And I'm happy to say that, you know, we've had all 50 states the last couple of years. We've seen it grow from around 60 or 70 events the first year to more than 1,500 events last year. And like I mentioned, we would not be able to do this without organizations like School-Based Health Alliance and its affiliates. So how can we help you? NIDA is at your service, and this is my team as well as my contract team that will be here to help you generate ideas for your events and help you plan your event, get you connected with a scientist or an expert in your community if that's something that you desire. And we can also provide you with materials. We certainly want to be able to provide all of you with materials throughout the year, and specifically for National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. And as you can see, the email address there, this is an email address that will come directly to me. So I will respond to those emails as they come in, and certainly feel free to shoot me an email with any questions that you may have or concerns about how you can actually get involved with the week itself. I am here to be your resource. You're listening to me today. You signed up for the webinar, and I certainly want to make sure that I make myself available for you so that we can get you planned and set up for an event. And you know, like I mentioned, this is not a one-way street. We want to make sure that you're in contact with us throughout the year, and any resources that you may find helpful, we want to be able to provide for you, and at no cost. So we certainly appreciate that. Next thing we're going to do is a poll question.
Yes, thank you, Brian. So for our next poll question, we'd like to know, do you plan to participate in National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week 2016? Please take 1 minute to answer the question. All right, a few more seconds. All right, Brian, it looks like you have most of the people geared up. 82% said yes. They do plan to participate in 2016.
That's terrific. That's certainly what we wanted to hear, and you know, this is what we're all about. And I think you'll find that, you know, when you reach out to me, I will be there for you. So I certainly appreciate the you know, all of your efforts, and I hope that the webinar was you know, met your expectations. And you know, we are, like I said, gearing up. And if there's anything that I can do or our institute can do for you, I certainly want to hear from you, and I will make myself available at your disposal.
Thank you so much, Brian. We have about 2 more minutes, so I just want to mention a couple of things, and then we'll try to get 1 or 2 questions in. Thank you so much again, Brian. We'll give everyone an opportunity to put their questions in for Brian, and those that we're not able to get to, we'll definitely submit those questions to Brian so he can get back to you. We definitely want to mention our membership here at School-Based Health Alliance. Become a member, become a member. We do have 2 different memberships, one individual, second organizational. To learn more and to become a member, please visit our website at www.sbhforall.org. All right, Brian, I believe we do have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
All right. All right, our first question is, do you have a hashtag for the week that, you know, I guess people can use for social media?
Yes, we absolutely do, and I can tell you what that is right now. We actually have a National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. It's called Tools for Success. It's a media kit, and it actually goes through our traditional media 101 as well as using social media. And as far as the hashtag goes, the hashtag is simply, I'm pulling it up right now. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, the hashtag is simply NDAFW at NIDA News or at NIAAA News.
Okay, can you repeat that 1 more time for them, Brian?
Sure. So it's hashtag NDAFW at NIDA News or at NIAAA News.
All right, we're going to have, go ahead, I'm sorry.
We also have hashtag NDAFW also.
All right, and okay, another question. How do you approach the topic of marijuana in states where it is legal?
So as far as marijuana legalization goes, that's actually a policy issue that's handled by one of our federal partner at the Office of National Drug Control Policy. So that's a policy issue, and that is handled by the Office of National Drug Control Policy at the White House.
Okay, thank you, Brian. We have 1 more question that we have for you. Where do you want us to send snapshots of promotions of the week?
Can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, of course. So where would you like them to send snapshots of the promotion during that week? Is there a place that they can submit snapshots to you?
Yes, they can actually they can send them to the drug facts email, drugfacts@nida.nih.gov, and that's drugfacts, F-A-C-T-S as in Sam, at NIDA.nih.gov.
Thank you again so much, Brian. And any questions that come in, we would definitely submit those over to Brian. Since we're cutting on time, but we definitely want to ensure that we are giving you guys the best presentations, such as Brian's going further. So we just want to ask you a couple of poll questions just to let us know how things work for you. So just like the first question would be, did this presentation meet your needs? If you can please just take a few seconds to answer. Okay, thank you, everyone. Our next question would be, how well did the presentation meet the stated objectives? Please take a few seconds. Okay, and how likely are you to apply information from your presentation in your organization? Please take a few seconds. Okay, now last question. Would you recommend this webinar to others? Please take a few seconds. Okay, everyone, we thank you so much for attending today's webinar. Again, we will send any additional questions to Brian right after the webinar. Also, you can send those questions to info@sbhforall.org. Brian, we truly appreciate you for coming on today and having this amazing webinar, and for all of our audience for attending. Thank you, everyone, and have an amazing day.
Thank you again.